Hey everyone, today I use Bricktown Grooming's Lafayette and I talk about Henry Roland, the human fly. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, how are you? John Bonham here, Cape Cod Wet Shaving. Another day, another shave. I'm a day late for a history shave. Better late than never. Coffee of the day is Nicaragua by Sterling. Very good. I always say that about Sterling, so just assume that they're all good, which they are. So, okay, so quick run through with the software I'm going to be using. Today I'm going to be using Lafayette from Bricktown Grooming. This is relatively new. It's a guy named Phil. Hello, Phil. Good buddy of mine. I've known him since he started his business, and I've watched it grow exponentially to my great joy, because he's an awesome guy and it's quite well deserved. I mean, most of y'all know him by now, but this is the first splash. He initially started with splashes. This is the first splash that I ever got from Phil. It was Lafayette, because it's a barbershop scent. It's a powdery French barbershop scent, so it's not bergamot heavy, it's more powder heavy. And scent notes are powder, lavender, sandalwood, patchouli. So he got someone to do private label for him, and so they started coming out with soaps to match his splashes. Can't wait to use it. I love Lafayette, it smells so good. So pre-shave oil, I'm using natural pre-shave oil from Subtle Art Soap. And the balm, I'll be using Sterling's Barbershop, because it pairs pretty damn well with this. Excuse me. This throat thing will not go away. It's come and gone, but we have the smoke and all that coming down from up north, so. And it's dusty for some reason, which is weird because we had some horrible thunderstorms. But in any case, I'll also be using my Omega boar brush, and I have fallen in love, oops, don't want to hold it that way, with these Treat Falcons. These are awesome, awesome blades. I love them very much. And I forgot to bring the box up, so I'll show you that. Kills a little time, but oh well. And I'll be using my Aylesworth razors, Copper Cunt, with that. All right. So this will be fun. I can't wait. 1 second. Forgot something. Forgot a bowl. So I decided I'm going to use this one. This was anonymously donated to help support the channel. Thank you. You know who you are. Haven't used one of those fine bowls in quite a while. Oop. So, speaking of fine, they got a new razor coming out within days, I believe, maybe a week. Which is exciting, because I got the Fine Marvel. It had been on my list for like a year, and I finally got it when someone told me that it was being discontinued. I bought it on the spot. So, can't wait to see it. Looks like an open comb. We shall see though. All right. So Phil told me the name of the person who makes his soaps. I'm not really familiar with them, but I'm not going to mention it here. I don't know. He probably doesn't want that info out. Or if he does, you can ask him yourself. So, okie doke. So Henry Roland, the human fly. All right, so to start off with, in this time frame, there were a lot of people called the human fly. Quite a few. So it was not a unique moniker. Be a fact, there's another guy. What was his name? I should have written it down. I knew I should have. I thought I'd remember it. Jamie. But he spelled it Jammie. Jamie something. This guy was crazy, but he ended up just disappearing off the face of the earth. No one knows what happened to him. Not that he passed away, just that he stopped doing what he did in his, I don't know, maybe he died in life. I don't know. I have no idea. He didn't die from his profession. But this guy, Henry Roland, led an interesting life. He ended up doing what he did, which was scaling buildings freehand with no safety whatsoever. He just saw a building, started climbing it. Okay? And ultimately, that was not the cause of his demise, if you can believe it. although he did have a few close calls. So I don't want to get ahead of myself. So here's Henry Roland. He was also known as D.D. Roland, which stood for Daredevil. So Daredevil Roland was born March 2nd, 1894 in Germany. That's a younger photo. That's the youngest photo of him I could find. There's oddly not a lot about him, at least photo-wise. He had a family. I couldn't find pictures of his family. Again, don't want to get ahead of myself. So, he and his family immigrated to the United States when he was 4, and they settled in Pennsylvania. All right. Not a lot of info about his upbringing either. Early 1900s, European immigrants. I'm sure the story is very similar to most going through that at that time in American history. Struggling to find a job and persecution from the locals who did not want him there, generally, but at least they weren't Irish. The Irish got it rough. I mean, good 50 or so years before. Irish. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting off topic here. His father took him to the circus, and he found himself enamored with the trapeze acts. So his father taking him to the circus actually altered the course of his life, because he was just enthralled watching the trapeze acts, where these people would just become airborne and go and do these crazy stunts. And again, this is in the early 1900s, turn of the century. So we did the video about OSHA, which did not exist yet. So that led up to OSHA. So it's a dangerous profession. All right. At home, as a boy, he practiced and became quite proficient with climbing and balancing. And he also taught himself how to juggle. Pretty cool. He was a welder by trade. So he grew up, became a welder. Look at that. Show you that lather real quick. Yummy. Oh, it smells just like the Splash. So this is going to be a treat. If y'all have seen this soap or you've not heard of Breakdown Grooming, Phil is a Navy veteran. My wife's Coast Guard, and I'm ex-Coast Guard, so not Navy, but we hit it off kind of through the military aspect. And he retired as a chief. My wife is a chief in the Coast Guard. And so we were chit-chatting over the difference and what they got to go through to become a chief in the Navy, and it's quite impressive. It's really neat. So Phil's a great guy, family man. Nice as can be. Salt of the earth is the term I think we would use. And again, it's been wonderful watching him succeed and blow up out there. Well deserved, as I said. So give his splashes at least a shot, because they're wonderful scents. Okay, so welder by trade. In 1915, he decided to quit the trade and instead join the circus. So he literally stopped what he was doing, and he was like, I'm going to go join the circus, which he did. So he joined the circus. I hear my kids. And eventually, an older member of the circus witnessed Roland's climbing ability and pushed him to pursue the talent. So I don't know how that came about, but one of the big guys in the circus who had some pull saw him climbing and was like, hey, you need to do something with that. Like, that's a good talent to have. Sorry, I keep looking at the door because I hear my kids and I'm waiting for one of them to come up. So for those with very young children, or who don't have kids who are thinking of it, I'll give you a little snippet. I don't know what age it disappears, but there's a part of the child brain from birth. Okay? It's called the Neden region. Now, the reason it's called the Neden region, because they always need something. For instance, I'll give you an example. We can be in Walmart on vacation. We can go to Walmart twice in a day. We'll walk past Freeze Pops 4 times each visit during that day. But only at 8:30 at night, when we're exhausted and I'm trying to take a shower, will one of them go, "Hey Dad, I need those Freeze Pops." The Needham region. I need this, I need that. It's also good for sensing when you're trying to do something, because that's usually when it activates. Oh, it's fun. So in my case, for instance, at this very moment, hey guys, I'm gonna go shoot my shave video. I'll be upstairs. Everyone good? You don't need anything? No? Okay, I'll be upstairs. Well, that's when they need something. So that's why I'm looking at the door, because I'm fully expecting them to come up and need something. The Needham region. Needham region. Because they net it. Anyway. A little off topic, but that's funny. Just occurred to me. Look at that lather, guys. Oh. Yummy. Okay. And that treat razor, by the way, this is a 3rd use for that blade. So I want to push it, see how far I can take it. This is my 2nd blade I'm working my way through. I threw the last one away after I think the 3rd. Because I dropped it, unfortunately. Fell off my magnet strip. Okay. So we'll remember the circus, witnesses climbing ability, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So Roland struck out on his own. So he worked for the circus. He did do the climbing for the circus for a while, but he eventually left the circus, became good enough and confident enough that he decided he wanted to strike out on his own. First pass treat, falcon, blade. By August of 1924, he was married and had a daughter. He was covering their expenses by performing climbs in various locations. All right. Now that photo, I'm pretty sure that's him. I tried to chase down the origins of that photo. It might possibly be another climber, but I do believe that's one of the climbs that he did. So, climbing a clock tower. So, on August 27th, he made kind of an unscheduled stop in a town called Bloomfield in Iowa. So in Iowa, in Bloomfield, while climbing the Davis County Courthouse, okay, there's a photo of the Davis County Courthouse at the time. And down at the bottom you can see, it says Davis County, and I think it says Bloomfield, Iowa, in that photo. That is the literal courthouse. While he was climbing that courthouse, Henry slipped, trying to swing around the corner and get a grip, and he fell 35 feet to the sidewalk below in front of witnesses. And what happened was he landed on his left side, I believe. Yeah, he landed on his left side. He tried to break his fall. He landed on his left arm, his left hip. And what ended up happening was he broke. Oh, I'm sorry. A doctor in the crowd rendered first aid. He had broken his left hip, strained his back, and he jacked up his arm to his shoulder. He was also told after that fall that he would never climb again. He was taken to a hospital in the town of Ottumwa, and he would spend the next 5 weeks in that hospital in that town, recovering. Laid up, as we would say. And so he was determined to overcome his injuries, because of course he was. I would be. It was his livelihood. He had a lot to lose. Because now he had these grievous injuries, I don't even know if he could go back to be a welder. Let's see why not, but again, there's no... Oh wait, by 1927 there was ocean, never mind. Um, by this time, his marriage was strained. So all the travel and not having a place to settle down, call home, had taken its toll. And this part's kind of sad. He tried to buy a house, or he did buy a house, excuse me. He purchased his family a home in Ohio to try to placate his family, to go, look, here's a place we can permanently live. It unfortunately was not enough, because he still left and traveled and left them home. And by 1928, his wife had filed for and was granted a divorce. I'll also point out divorce in that time was still pretty taboo, especially for the woman to file. Now, as far as you usually wouldn't get it because you were a woman filing in that time, or it took something serious for the judge to go, okay, I get it, I don't know. But she was granted a divorce. I'm down there having fun. We're going to the beach today. We just bought a Maui mat. They've been wanting a Maui mat for years. In between, we have a boat. Not a big one, but we have, little boat with an outboard motor. We have a 12-foot Starcraft whaler. And I have a 5 horsepower Mitsubishi outboard that I can take off, that I take them out on. It's just enough boat for the size of our pond. And so we have that. We have all this stuff for them. So we were just like, you literally, a Maui mat is something is the last thing you don't have. And we have all this other stuff. We have a pool, for God's sake, for the day. That the pool is good for, hey, we're not going to the beach days. Daddy has to do the yard. But I finally gave in because, they're only young once, as my grandmother used to so rightfully tell me. God rest your soul, Grandma, I miss you. One of the tiniest and most terrifying women I've ever known. When I was visiting down in Texas, she was originally from Florida, but once my grandfather's health, or once their health started going down, they sold their house in Florida and moved into they had a guest house in the backyard, my dad, and they moved into that guest house. He had it rebuilt to accommodate them, and that's where they lived. So I would go to Texas and visit her at any time that she thought I was being too hard on my own kids. She would caution me and say they're only young once. And she was right. So, nice little memory. Came out of nowhere, sorry. Jewel Griffith, aka Judy. Lehman James Griffith was my grandfather, and he's the Pearl Harbor survivor I've mentioned on here. I miss them both. I think of them almost every day. So, all right. Sorry. Where was I? I'm really sorry. I just came out of nowhere. And the mind's just weird. That just, bam, out of nowhere. Just felt a lot of little, sorrow and stuff. I haven't been busy. I haven't thought of them in a while. Okay. So in the years that followed, Roland's family grew, or his fame grew, excuse me. He would travel to Texas, California, Florida, and Vermont. So he went all 4 corners of the country. He would also, his fame turned international when he balanced a chair on top of the 20-story Roosevelt Hotel in Seattle. That's the cover photo, by the way. And here's a flyer that one of the many flyers that started showing up as his fame grew. The cover photo for this video is the Roosevelt Hotel in Seattle. Okay? So he would also travel to Mexico and Europe. He would scale his tallest building while in Seattle, which was the 42-story L.C. Smith Tower. And that one, I couldn't find a photo of it. I'm sure it's there somewhere. I just briefly looked and then moved on because I was almost done by then. And I thought I was going to do this video yesterday, so I was trying to rush because I thought I'd be able to have time to film it, but didn't happen. And here it is Friday, so again, better late than never, whatever. So in June 1932, Roland returned to Bloomfield, his nemesis town. He considered that the only stain in his record, or in his what's the word? I always do this. Sorry, reputation. There we go. He returned to Bloomfield and then successfully reclaimed the courthouse. Reclaimed. That was a photo of him climbing the courthouse. So he did manage to go back to that courthouse that almost killed him and conquer it. All right. So by 1937, Roland had signed a contract with the carnival, so he was back with the carnival, to perform a trapeze act. Now, that seems like an odd choice. He did get remarried by this time, so he was remarried to his second wife. I don't know. I couldn't find anything over why he chose that. I just would think it's a business perspective. Nothing more, nothing less. Money. And it's a guarantee, so no more moving. Well, I'm sorry, excuse me, it's a carnival, so you'd be moving with the carnival, but it would be a less chaotic, more static lifestyle, because you go where the carnival goes. And, you know, you're not going to wonder where your next gig is going to be, all that, because you're with the carnival. So, stability, in other words, is why I would imagine he made that move. So, I'll show you a photo of what it looks like. You think of a trapeze. So I was lucky enough to go to the circus before they stopped doing it. Wasn't that something when they did too? When I was a kid, I went and saw, there's an elephant called King Tut. And I believe it was Barnum and Bailey, or Ringling Brothers. I can't remember which one. I think they were merged before they stopped altogether. But whichever one had the giant elephant named King Tut, I went and saw that one. And this is modern day circus stuff. So, I mean, the trapeze was huge. It was up near the top of the tent, but it was all safety stuff into play. These were, I think, metal ladders going up. Back in the day, these were Jacob's ladders. These were flimsy rope ladders that twirled and So, on October 8th, 1937, it's my mom's birthday, by the way, October 8th. Y'all don't care. In Hottaway, Tennessee, Roland climbed the 90-foot ladder to his perch, which was 62 feet above ground. Okay? On a very windy day, Roland did a somersault in midair and attempted to grab a trapeze bar with his legs. So this bar swung towards him. He tried to grab it with his legs. Here's a photo of what the trapeze would have looked like in his time. Neither of those people are him, but it would have been an identical setup to that. Look at that ladder. Screw that. He missed his grip with his legs. He actually got one leg in, and it wasn't enough. It was an extremely windy day when this happened. So they think that the bar, with the wind blowing against it, the bar just stopped and didn't swing as far as it normally would have. He missed and fell almost 70 feet. There were no nets or safety measures in place at all. So he plummeted straight to the ground. He was rushed to the hospital and was pronounced dead on arrival, unfortunately, at the age of 43 years old. And there you go. The famous human fly. I picked Henry Roland because, as you know, I try to pick something less known with the history. But this guy not only was swallowed up by history, but there are other people that call themselves the human fly that actually are kind of well known, I think. At least from what I've seen online. Maybe not by you guys, but and certainly not by me when I was reading, but I mean, there's some other guys that did a lot. That Jamie guy did a lot of stuff, but this poor guy, this was a dude using a talent he had to make money. Nothing more, nothing less. And it cost him in the end. Oddly enough, not climbing buildings, he died at a trapeze act. That sucks. So, all right, what I'm going to do, we're 25 minutes in, I'm going to pause. I'm going to do touch-ups real quick off camera. And then I'm going to do post to save some time, okay? Give me 1 second. Alrighty. I just looked it up. Needing region of the brain doesn't go away, just gets smaller. There are reports that it is come into being for parents as late as the age of 35. Hey, Dad, I need money. Oh, I'm just being stupid. Oh. So I didn't really talk about the soap much. I usually halfway through I'll stop and talk about the soap performance and all that. This is a vegan soap, by the way. Not tallow. Which is funny because I forgot that. And the performance for a vegan soap is really damn good. Here's the ingredients. Stearic acid, water, coconut oil, potassium hydroxide, shea butter, glycerin, fragrance. Fragrance being last, which is cool. God, that splash is good. And the scent is there. It is not strong. Which is, you know, not a bad thing. I like stronger scents. If I buy a scent for a soap or a set, it's because I want to smell like it. Of course, it's all preference, like everything else is. But I want to smell like the thing that I shaved with. So I like really strong stuff. And now it's easy for me to say, and I'm aware of that, because I have yet to suffer, knock on wood, close enough, from anything that has given me frag burn. As of yet. Doesn't mean there's nothing out there and I'm immune to it. I just haven't had it happen to me yet. So, there's that. But post-shave with this was really good. I know I just put the splash on. You saw the lather. It made a really good lather. So, oh man, I got a lot of work to do after I'm done with this video. Got to edit it and throw in the photos and do all that, but kids want to go to the beach today and we got a new Maui mat. So I have to actually go out, get one of my spare anchors out of the shed. I have like 6 anchors. It's so funny. This is a true story too. People in the neighborhood, you know, this is Cape Cod, so everyone has a boat in some way, shape, or form, but they don't have a boat. They know someone with one. So I don't know if it's the ex-coastie thing or the fact that we just have one, but I have had people call me, text me. I've had people approach me on the beach. I had someone come to the house and every one of them was like, hey, I have an anchor, a spare anchor, you want it? And after the 5th anchor, I went, of course I do. More the merrier. So I kid you not, I have like 6 anchors out in the shed. Can't have too many anchors. All right. Oh, that bomb went beautifully with that. Okay. So that'll do it. Again, I don't recognize the name of the people who make his soaps, but they're very good at it. Phil made a good choice with them. I believe they're still available. He started out at Razor Emporium because Phil lives out in California on the West Coast. So I think Razor Emporium still sells them. I believe he's expanded now to Razor Company. Maybe the wet shaving store, I'm not sure. I should have looked into that. Just go to your fine retailers, go search up Bricktown Grooming, they'll come right up. And they're inexpensive, the soaps. I should have known that too. I was about to say 15 bucks. I'll be safe and say I think they're 20. $19.99, I believe. And the splashes are also $19.99. I think a couple of them are a little more expensive depending on the oils he uses, but they're phenomenal splashes. And this is always going to be my favorite of his. So, All right, everybody. Well, hope you appreciated the history of Henry Roland. Really sad end. There's more to the guy. Not a lot more. I didn't have to omit as much. Just some detail in stuff that I mentioned. I just gave the bare bones version of some of the stuff. But, you know, it's just just a person that you have never heard of otherwise. So, in fact, how did I come across him? I think I was watching a YouTube video, and someone said like something about a guy like Henry Roland. It wasn't even about him. He was just mentioned in passing, and I was like, I never heard of that guy, so I went and looked him up. And I couldn't even find a Wikipedia on him. There was one, but I was looking up the wrong thing, and it was a very obscure topic. So, all right, everybody, enjoy your summer. I hope everyone is well. Thanks as always. 30 minutes, not bad. I've been doing like 35, 36-minute ones. Been killing me. I appreciate y'all. Anyone who's come back, thank you. Anyone who's new, thank you. Especially if you watch to the end. I know these videos are long, but they're fun. All right, everyone have fun. Be safe out there. I don't know. We got 4th of July coming up. I really don't have a lot of plans. We stay home. It's literally the busiest weekend on Cape Cod is 4th of July weekend, so we stay right here, away from the idiots and the drunks, so, and the crowds and all that stuff. So, all right. Thank you very much. Take care. Till next time, happy shaving. Take it easy.